Hey, what's happening, gamers? Sorry for the late start today. Health stuff. But hopefully you guys having a good one. Whoa. There's a super chat goal if you guys want to help unlock the music. Because I mean, this stream already has well over 1,000 views, so you guys are fantastic. But we have to not play the music, otherwise, Amber and I don't see a dime from this series. And of course, once we're done with the story, we're going to be doing free play. We're going to be doing free roam and collecting gold bricks and all that fun stuff, as this is the lead up to Lego Batman 4, obviously. Uh, I have 2 left. Hello, guys. Hi, John Doe. Hi, gang. How's it going? So today, another big gaming YouTuber called it quits. And while I wish Norm well, it's never a great day when another gaming YouTuber goes away, because it impacts what's known as the gaming CPM, which kind of, like, those of us that are left, it basically lowers the CPM. Because what's going to happen is now less people are going to go to Norm's channel. And, usually when a YouTuber just vanishes, there's like that kind of like mystery in the air, like, oh, what happened to this person? They're not here anymore. And their fans continually go back to watch their stuff to figure out what happened to the YouTuber. When the YouTuber announces that they're gone, then people are like, well, it was fun being on this channel, but I'm not going to be a member anymore. I'm not going to do all this other stuff. And, everything just goes down kaputski. Norm makes the 15th gaming YouTuber that has either died or retired since January 2026. So we've lost 15 channels in the gaming space. And I knew Norm back in the Screw Attack days, so that's a long time ago. What made Gaming Historian really interesting is he was one of the few YouTubers to get partnered by YouTube, like the Chris Bohr's Irate Gamer method, without an MCN. So he was able to, as we called it, go independent. So he basically pulled like a Guru Larry and a another thing, which is pretty incredible in itself. So I wish Norm well. He's gonna probably keep doing his podcast, which it's kind of funny. I'll tell you guys something. So podcasting was actually a big deal before, like, YouTube gaming. And when I mean YouTube gaming, I mean, like, people posting like gaming content and becoming partners in like 2009. Podcasts was like how gamers made money. Like, there were tons of gaming podcasts. I even did podcasts back in the day. I was on a couple. And, of course, my friend Total Biscuit was on a lot of podcasts, mostly for World of Warcraft and things like that. He was a big WoW guy. So, like, it's kind of interesting that a lot of people are actually going back to podcasting now, when podcasting was really big, like being a podcaster in 2009, 2008. So many people are doing the whole podcast route again. And what's great about podcasts is podcast is very little work. You sit there on the microphone, you talk. There's no editing, there's no anything, and you're done, So, it's a quick, easy, fun way of doing things. So anyway, I'll just explain how things are going with this game. We're going to keep the stuff muted during the cutscenes, because we already have, I believe the music's already off. Because unfortunately in the cutscenes they have music. So we've already played the cutscenes over and over again on this channel. So if you guys want to do the super chat goal to unlock the cutscenes, that's cool. If not, don't worry about it, because I mean, I'm already happy that we got 1,000 views. So you could also always go back to our original Lego Batman 2 series. We've done it several times, and you can listen to the cutscenes and things like that. But without super chats, we have to, we can't have the cutscenes play because they have music. So just heads up. Nothing personal or anything like that, but my wife and I have to earn revenue every stream we do, because it's super important. And all that fun stuff. Where'd my car go? I'm just waking up kind of like in a delirious like haze too. Can't stop sweating, which is super annoying. I lost my car. So today is going to be the John Williams Superman theme stuff, which is awesome, but also, oh my gosh. What is this? Sure, it'll be fine. Well, I mean, we're not obviously going to... I got to play the John Williams Superman theme, because reasons. Hey, Tim. Thanks for the highlighted message, buddy. Alright, so now I just need to remember where I am.
You said it was important and you wanted us to let us know about it.
Who, what?
Tim!
Okay, thank you, Tim.
No, we have to read it. What are you talking about?
I can't see him.
Well, can you let me read? Am I allowed to?
Yeah, of course, you're allowed to read stuff. My vision's kind of blurred because I'm still waking up.
Yeah, just so you know, Luke, the purpose of the highlighted message is to get your attention so you can read it.
Yeah, I know that. Where'd my car go?
How many months do you think Tim has been a member?
45?
46 months. That's a long time.
46 months. That's great. Thank you, Tim.
Hey, Kwings, it's been 46 months now and counting. Almost 4 years.
That's amazing.
I'm glad that I found this amazing channel and happy to be part of it. You're the best brother and sister in Christ.
Oh, that's very sweet of you. Thank you, Tim. Very kind of you.
You're the best brother in Christ.
And thank you to Darren. Darren for the first of the super chat goal. Thank you very much, buddy. Really appreciate that. Or is that it?
Thank you for always praying for us, Tim, and for all your help and love and support. Thank you, Darren Nelson Beam. Darren Nelson Beam. Boy's name. Hey, Kwing, I've been watching you guys since I was 11 and I'm 26. I'm sending you both you and Amber lots of love and support from Scotland. God bless you both. Thank you, Darren Nelson. Thank you so much for the help. Alright.
I appreciate that, Jay Good, but remember, buddy, I told you to go to church. Like, remember we've had this conversation and you agreed to it, so I mean, you know, tomorrow's the day, buddy. Tomorrow's Sunday, so
tomorrow's a great day to go to church and ask someone for prayer because
yep, tomorrow's Easter Sunday.
Hey, you know what is a great place? I mean, may I say a place people can ask for prayers or no? If you type in AIR1.com, air1.com, it's a nationwide Christian radio station. And if you type that in, they have a link there, and they can pray for you. You can either put it on the website, or you can call the number on that radio station, and they have pastors on the line to pray for you on that radio station. Just putting it out there. Thank you for the super chat. Jay Good says, Luke, I hope you understand that I'm fighting every day. Okay. I got you. I understand, Jay Good. Thank you for the super chat.
Some things you can't read out loud. You just have to respond to and say thank you for the super chat.
Good to see everyone. Hi, Sammy. Hi, Red Hood. Hello, Jay Good. Hi, John Doe. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Tim. Sonic Boom. Hi, Chris. Hi, Lao Boys. And Lao Boys is talking about enjoying street food. And I think it's another country than this. I forgot. Somewhere in Asia.
Cool.
And Skylanders Quincy became a hero. Thank you, Skylanders
Thank
Quincy.
you very much, guys, for the continued, like, becoming members and stuff like that. We've gotten, in the past, what is it, like 3 or 4 days, we've now amassed 45 new recurring members, which is amazing and very, very helpful to Amber and I, so thank you guys so much. Like, gifted memberships are amazing, but recurring memberships, it's the future, because we're not retiring anytime soon, but I am going on break in 2030, because I have never had a vacation, so I'll be going on break.
I've got some good news.
It's another crazy night in Gotham, with Arkham escapees flooding through the city. We've got goons in the streets, thugs in the park, and Poison Ivy in the Botanic Gardens. Even Killer Moth, who's apparently tearing up the power station. Killer Moth? For real? Wow. killer moth. Who knew? Oh, and some kind of break-in at Ace Chemicals. Be careful out there, people.
Just like Arkham.
So I can stop carrying this? I mean, now we have other samples. That guy can't go anywhere without making a mess.
You didn't just break in here to do this.
Oh, the mic has been off? How long has the mic been off? The mic has been off? Alright, let me restart the level. I can restart the level. Also, my bat suit wasn't popping up for some reason, which was weird.
I've taken the liberty of activating the bat.
Yep, remember guys, you can always send a super chat to let us know, because I'm a little delirious today. Like, I have I don't know if I have a fever or what I have. I can't stop sweating today, which is super annoying. The air conditioner is on. All that fun stuff. I don't know what's going on. But what I was trying to say is, you guys are almost done with the super chat goal. I put the music on because you guys are like, I don't know, what is it, like 10 bucks away from clearing the super chat goal. So as a shot, excuse me, as a show of good faith, I unlocked the music. You already have. We already have some stuff towards copyright, so thank you very much. But it was probably good. We were muted because Amber and I were talking about some stuff. Talking about some movie stuff. It's kind of strange. It's okay. Try this again. Where is the these chemicals again? This is it, right? I just drive in there. Not gonna play again. Well, this is Ace Chemicals. Ooh. Great. How do I get back inside? Oh wait, no. I'll just drive in and then the cutscene. There. Okay. There it goes.
It's another crazy night in Gotham, with Arkham escapees flooding through the city. We've got goons in the streets, thugs in the park, and poison ivy in the botanic gardens. Even Killer Moth, who's apparently tearing up the power station. Killer Moth? For real? Wow, Killer Moth. Who knew? Oh, and some kind of break-in at Ace Chemicals. Be careful out there, people.
Just like Arkham.
So I can stop carrying this? I mean, now we have other samples. That guy can't go anywhere without making a mess.
Didn't just break in here to do this.
Alright, let's do this thing. So, people didn't hear when Jay Good gave a super chat. Amber and I said thank you for the super chat, and we also were telling him that Easter Sunday is coming up, so it's a good idea for him to go to church, and things like that. We had a more profound thing happen, like we were talking to Jay Good, telling him that, you know, people at church can help him out and stuff like that. He could bring to talk to people his own age who are dealing with similar things. And, you know, it might help with some of his problems and make him feel like, you know, he's not so alone anymore. So, that's all basically we were saying. So, and I was talking about Norm for a minute. Which, if you guys don't know who Norm is, Norman. He's the gaming historian who has left the platform. And I was talking about podcasts. But I have a slight fever. And I was also thanking people for their super chats. We're almost done with our super chat goal. If somebody wants to finish that off before the stream. You've got some time because I'm going to be doing all of Ace Chemical and whatever comes after Ace Chemical today. My goal is I want to get through the story as quickly as possible because of copyright. And then, of course, when we do free play and we do gold bricks and stuff, I won't have the music on anymore. There's no way to turn the music off in the cutscenes, so that's the problem with that. It's like, oh no, you know. And the only other stream I was doing today is I want to look at. We had one of our oldest viewers. You guys probably remember Goki. Although Goki's name is different now. Goki swung by and he was like, hey, are you guys going to play Super Meat Boy 3D? And it came out, it's like, oh yeah. But before I could make the thumbnail I had to go to sleep because I was having, I mean, most people go to sleep, but I was having problems. Don't feel good. And people were asking about my retirement. It's not that I would be retiring. You know how there's like seasonal anime? I've been under so much stress from the IRS for like since 2012. And, you know, stuck paying back taxes for a corporation when my business is a home business, it's not a corporation. So they slammed me with like back-to-back years of like 50 grand, which put me in financial debt. Because, you know, I owed like 100 grand or whatever to the IRS that I never earned or whatever. And I've been paying for their problem. So when I graduate in 2030, which that's the date when my back debt will be either paid off or be forgiven, I'm gonna go on break for a couple months so I can kind of get my head, you know, in the right place and maybe do some other stuff. Just step away for a little while and then come back in the middle of 2030 or something like that. Also, I'll be 45 years old, so thanks. It's either 45 or 46. I don't remember. So I would just need some like me time and also, you know, figure out what I'm gonna do with the rest of my, not the rest of my life, but my YouTube thing. Like where am I gonna go with that? And after that. Because Amber and I have never ever, like, people have asked this time and time again, have you ever gotten to enjoy any of the income you've earned on YouTube? No. My wages are garnished. They've been garnished since I started the Arkham content, which, if you can imagine that, every other YouTuber I knew, they got a Ferrari, they got a house, they got whatever. I just had so much money paid back to the IRS for like so many years that I don't like the IRS. I see the IRS as a major villain. I don't like it, regardless of who's in office. Because it's the same administration no matter what, and it's the same debt, it's the same problem. So just being able to get away from that in 2030 is gonna be nice. You know, I can get maybe some of my sanity back, become maybe a nicer person. I'm a very grumpy person. Very by the book, by the numbers person. Know how long I have to work. Know, you know, what I have to do, what I have to earn every day. It's incredibly stressful because, I mean, you can't, unless you're salary, you can't go into a job and be like, I'm going to earn the same amount of money every day. It's impossible. Especially being shadow banned really put what do they call it? A wind in my sails. Or not, it took the wind out of my sails. It took No, you have to batter him. You can't. Yeah, battering him. Battering. There we go. Alright, slobbing the boy Wonderless face. Oh, got some extra studs there, that's nice. Get some more studs. Wow, there's a lot more stuff in there than I thought. Oh, so Ace Chemicals had a mixture of Danny Elfman's music and some original stuff too? Oh, that's cool. Wait, no, that's all Danny Elfman still. Yeah, it is. See, I'm totes out of it. Broke the elevator, and I need to get the electrical bat suit. Last time the electrical bat suit did not show up. Yeah, we get put back. I think Robin has to shoot that water. Oh, whoops, sorry, Batman. I didn't mean to do that. That's my bad. Nope, that's not what I'm supposed to do. Okay then, how do I make the, Robin can't climb up there. Now it works. Yeah, so it glitched anyway. So, I mean, I had to shut it off anyway because it glitched. The thing didn't pop up, which happens sometimes. Now we're good. Everything's the way it's supposed to be now. Everything's supposed to be the way it's supposed to be. Oh. Turn off the electricity on the ladder, then Robin can get up here. Get on up here, Robin. Then we're going to save that generator over there for free play, which will be in the future. Got a badge from YouTube. I don't know what that means, Ronnie, but we like to heart most people's comments. That's how Amber and I do things. We appreciate people commenting, and we respond to people, and you know we've been doing that for a long time. We appreciate people watching our stuff, and we just say thank you or whatever. What Amber was trying to tell you guys, when I go on break in 2030, she's still going to be working on the channel, still doing her, what do you call it? She's going to be doing her, slice, what do they call it? Slice of life stuff? I don't know what it's called. Going to be doing her cozy stream still. And Amber will still be active on the channel. I might pop in every once in a while, and if there's like a major release, I might, you know, stream a little bit, but I'm not going to be as active. I'm gonna go to a part-time role for a little bit, just to, you know, mentally recharge and things like that. Because I mean, we've been dealing with so much behind the scenes for like 20 years. You know, by the time 2030 comes, I'll have been a YouTuber for like over 20-something years. So we dealt with a lot of stuff, and we never ever got to enjoy our income as a YouTuber. We never got to go on a trip. We never got to do anything. It was always in debt to the IRS. And you know, it was something that I kept behind the scenes for the longest time. And truthfully, if my income didn't drop like 6 or 7 years ago, I never would have told you that. Just would have kept that stress to myself and threat of going to jail and all this other stuff. I would have just kept it bottled up and never told it. So the only reason I ended up opening up about stuff is because, well, one, there was nothing else to talk about. I was losing money, and I don't know, just needed to tell somebody because I was starting to go crazy. And if you got threatening letters from the IRS all the time, you guys go crazy too. You know? Get like, oh, we're noticing that your income's slipping and things like that. You'd feel like you're I don't even know how to explain it. You would feel pretty bad, probably. You're like, man, these people are just like really up in my grill all the time. You know, constant reminder that your life sucks, by the way. Do this or else. It's like dealing with the mob. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I think dealing with the mob, owing the mob money would be a lot better than owing the IRS. Like, IRS. I don't even think the IRS. There's something about the IRS that has way too much power. And they put a lot of innocent Americans like in a lot of stress. That's my take. That's somebody who's been dealing with it. Then we have to build this, right? Yeah, we gotta build something. There we go. Alright, so apologies, a little bit darker than I'm used to, so doing the best I can. Going up. Thank you for helping us finish our Super Chat goal. You are breathtaking. I think our Super Chat goal is done. Yeah, it is. I appreciate that, buddy. Whoops. It's good not to give up. It's, you know, I dealt with clinical depression and other types of depression. I made it, you know. If I can do it, I'm not that great of a person. I think, you know, everybody has the capabilities of fighting through their problems and, most importantly, conquering their problems. That's the most important thing. Your mind is a very powerful thing that can be used for good or can be used for bad. And getting your thoughts in order and, you know, pushing through your problems and conquering them, there's nothing that feels better than, you know, accomplishing that kind of stuff. And I know you can do it. It's hard. But you got this. And the next step is if you're struggling so much and it's time to, you know, as we Christians say, it's time for Jesus to take the wheel. Like, give him all your burdens, all your problems, and you will notice, if you fully surrender to him, you will notice a lot of change in your life in terms of, like, how stresses and, you know, it's just, there's a peace about it. It's hard to explain without without experiencing it yourself. I can't really explain how it works. It's because I don't understand the spiritual world at all. It's too complicated for me. As you know, I believe that mankind has a soul and a spirit, and that our soul doesn't even belong to us. It's God's soul. Also, I do get a little religious-y when it comes to Easter, so Easter and Christmas time is when I get the most religious or talk about it, because, you know, it's a very spiritual time. And I promise you, you know, if you go to church on Easter Sunday, I think you'll have your eyes open and you'll realize that there's so many people that care about you. And the most important thing, Jay Good, is God has a plan for your life, buddy. You may not think that you're important, but God knows you're important and he wants what's best for you. So, it's time for you to lay down your burdens and you know, talk to him and talk to a pastor tomorrow. I'm going to keep bugging you about it. If you don't go to church tomorrow, I'm going to keep pestering you. I'm going to keep asking you every week. Did you go to church? Did you go to, did you talk to a pastor? You know, did you keep telling me things about what's going on with you? Because I'm going to keep praying for you no matter what. But I need to see that you're making some effort, my friend, okay? Because we only want what's best for you. That's all I got to say in that regard, okay? Am I doing this right? I think I'm doing this. Am I supposed to ride this again? Yes, I'm supposed to ride this. Wait! There we go. Man, this is so dark. There we go. Oh. So just in a couple weeks, guys, or a month or so, we're actually going to get, about a month, a little over a month, we're going to get to play the game that finally surpasses Lego Batman 2. It's going to be something else. I didn't even think that Lego DC Supervillains really surpassed Lego Batman 2 either. It was still doing the same stuff as Lego Batman 2. Want to know what I find funny, though? Is it's going to take a Lego Arkham game to surpass Lego Batman 2. That's kind of funny to me. It's not even a tried and true Lego game. It's a Lego game with the Arkham engine. Who saw that coming? You know? It's not funny. I think it's kind of funny. Happy Easter, yep. Easter tomorrow. Yep. Okay, so we got another one of these thingies. Gonna break this. Whoops! All those studs! No, I wasn't paying attention. Crap. Oh well. All those studs, man. And also, we do appreciate you guys and gals helping out with copyright. So we can enjoy Lego Batman 2 the way it was intended with the music on. Oh no! So thank you very much, guys, for your generosity. We really appreciate it. There's just something about, you know, a peace of mind knowing you can stream the game while still earning an income without having to worry about Warner Brothers like throwing 50 or 60 copyright claims your way. You're like, what? Why? So thank you, everybody. It also brings back a lot of nostalgia for me too. There's no order necessarily to do this. Water goes up like that. No big. You get tons of studs. Sort of. So the new anime season is upon us. I've already started watching 2 new anime, and I like them so far. I don't necessarily know the names of them yet. I can tell you the premise of one. It's called New Game Plus, and this gentleman has a lot of regrets. He's a college guy, or maybe he's past college, I don't know. He has a lot of regrets about what happened in his life, and he didn't really have a good high school life. He didn't have a girlfriend. Nothing ever went the way he wanted to. And somebody, because of Japanese Twitter now, they actually told me it has some darker undertones. So I thought the guy, like, is on the balcony, and he just, like, is asking, like, man, it would be great if I could go back and relive my high school life, you know, because I'm in the year 2021, and I want to go back to the year 2014. So he's talking about this, and he ends up being transported back, and I was like, oh, okay, so he has all the knowledge of, you know, everything that happened up until 2021. So he's back in time, he's super smart, all this other stuff. He's getting the high school experience that he always wanted. And, okay, Batman shouldn't be able to be in the water, but, okay. The water would be electrocuted. Anyway, he gets himself in shape. He does a lot of things to prepare him for his high school debut, and ends up meeting the girl he had a crush on, but because he's thinner and stuff like that, the girl gives him, like, she gives him the time of day and says hello to him, whereas before, when he was fat, in the past, like, you know, nobody really looked his way. And also, he did some pretty cringy stuff, like, during his first day of high school. So he didn't do any of that his first day of high school. But, you know, the episode was really good. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to more of that show. But I was talking to somebody on Japanese Twitter because, you know, now people from Japan can see us and talk to us about stuff. And the person was saying, yeah, just so you know, in the manga, the dude actually falls off the balcony and ends up getting reincarnated back as his younger self. And I was like, well, they didn't show that in the anime. That's kind of dark. And they said, well, yeah, but that's what happened. And I'm like, well, that's kind of sad that he accidentally falls off his apartment balcony, and that's how he ends up, like, you know, getting reincarnated. It's like, oh. Because I didn't know that when I watched it, because he doesn't fall off the balcony at all in the thing. He just kind of like, man, I wish I could go back to my high school years. And he just ends up randomly going back to his high school years. But apparently in the manga, he falls. Because, I mean, obviously, when you go back in time, something has to happen to you. So, knowing that, I'm kind of like, ah. And the other one is about this this girl who wants to get married, and she's like a martial arts genius. It takes place in like this medieval world, and her best friend is like this prime and proper candidate to be the queen of this country, and you know, her fiance is the first prince or whatever, but she's in love with his brother, like the second or third prince who's not in line for the throne. And the other girl is such a tomboy that she hasn't been successful with, you know, finding somebody to marry, because her family had a boy, and as soon as her family had a boy, she was no longer the heir to the family, right? She has to get married and whatever. That's what happened back then. So she's on an adventure to find a husband, and she ends up going to this kingdom that's super far away. It's pretty funny, but she is mistaken for the lady who's supposed to be the queen, the one who's going to marry into the kingdom. And the prince randomly comes up to her and annuls their engagement, and it's not the right woman. They're both blonde, but it's not the right lady. And so I think she beats him up. Like, she beats up the crown prince, and he's, like, never had anybody stand up to him or something. So he's kind of like, what just happened? And then they kind of, like, ended on a cliffhanger, but I'm interested in that show. So that's going to be a fun seasonal anime. And what I like about seasonal anime is it gives me something to look forward to, like, once a week. Besides the gaming stuff, like, it's very important for your mind, even as an adult, to have things that you enjoy doing, you know, like hobbies that you like and stuff. So, yeah, super important. My hobbies is I've been an anime fan for a very, very long time, you know. How am I supposed to break that? Oops, I'm stuck. Press X to use special. No, that doesn't. Okay, I messed something up. Whoops. Oh no. I done messed something up. And Batman can't get down here because I made a mistake. Whoops. He can't jump that high, can he? Oh no. Well. I messed something up. Come on, just let me jump up. Let me out of here. Okay, there we go. Give me a sec. Okay, come here, Robin. Stand on the other one. Stand. Good. Okay, that just gives me studs, though. That's just studs. Now, what am I supposed to do with that? Oh, that's easy. Okay, never mind. You know what? It's not the most effective way of doing that, but it worked. I still ruined that forklift, though. Hopefully I don't need that forklift for anything. Because I broke it. It's stuck. That forklift is not going to come out undone from there. Whoops. I done made a huge mistake. My bad. I'm gonna have to drain the water so that we can go in there. Yeah, water's drained. Mistakes were made. I'm not even sure how to get in there. We'll figure it out. Yep, Spy Family is now on Netflix too. Yep.
Promethium, xenon, mercury, tantalum, and dialum.
I mean, those aren't the chemicals he spilled all over the floor?
No. He left the empty bottles down there, and it wasn't any of these. What he stole was to make something else.
So, we're gonna leave now, right?
Yes.
Yep, Spy Family is now on Netflix. Whereas before, Spy Family was exclusive on some other stuff. You want to know the best thing about Twitter, like Japan now being able to see? There's a blessing in disguise with Japan being able to see American Twitter now. They are now very aware of two types of Americans and two types of people that watch anime. They dub this is amazing, okay? Because I mean this is prevalent to stuff. But Japanese people are now consciously aware of how vile politically correct people are, and they don't like them. So Japan is now anti-woke. Like, they're making fun of those freaks, like, all the time, and they're now consciously aware of them trying to mess up anime and do all this headcanon stuff. And they're on our side. Like, before they had no idea what was going on because, you know, a lot of stuff wouldn't be translated in their language, so they had no idea, like, all these people were grandstanding and headcanoning and doing all this stuff. Japan is not happy. Like, most average Japanese citizens had no idea what's going on, and they are super based. So, yeah, I think anime is heading in a great direction now. Because they had no idea. And it's all they talk about now. Which is, it's kind of funny because, you know, we as a gaming society and stuff have moved past that stuff because it's not relevant anymore. But Japan had no idea. So they're, like, talking about it all the time and just saying, like, from a common sense perspective, how crazy these people are. So that's been kind of funny. I've actually made a lot of friends with Japanese people the past, like, probably 2 weeks. Like, I at least talked to, like, 15 or 16 Japanese Twitter accounts. And they have, like, tons of followers, too. They have, like, I don't know, like, 70,000, 80,000, 100,000, you know. And I didn't even know these people, I mean, I knew they existed. But, like, they were never able to interact with you because it wouldn't translate it into their language, right? So I've actually, because of stuff, I've been able to change the language gap, and I've made friends with so many Japanese people that, you know, are basically just like me. Like, they're just, like, people who have common sense, and they're just very, like, you know, sick and tired of all the zany stuff that's been going on in the world. And it's nice to see that, because before people were like, well, Japan would totally be okay with all this political correct nonsense. No, they wouldn't. And what we're seeing on Twitter right now is exactly everything I've been saying for years. They're not okay with it. You know, it was because of the language barrier. They had no idea what was going on. And now they're aware of it, and Twitter is, like, horrified. They're like, oh my gosh, Japan is anti-woke. It's like, of course they would be. It's like, why wouldn't they be? It's funny. It's like, why wouldn't the creators of that stuff, why in the world would they be on the side of those weirdos, you know? Of course they're gonna be on the side of, like, sane, normal people. Just like Chad from the Philippines, one of our moderators, like, he's always been on the side of common sense and normalcy and decency and stuff like that. Because that's just how it is in Asia. Like, people don't realize how, like, conservative and, like, you know, hardworking the Japanese people are. Like, you know, they're very creative, yeah, but, I mean, they have a very traditional mindset about everything. They put family and tradition and stuff over, like, any type of, like, modern trends or fads or anything like that. It's super important to them. Like, they're more attuned to their family stuff than we are as a society. Which is true. So, I don't know. It was very reassuring to see, like, I was like, wow. So the rest of the world isn't crazy. It's just the West. The West is just insane. Everybody else is based. The only reason they got involved, like, Japan was talking about stuff. Did you guys see what people are upset about with the with the new Mario movie. Did you see why it's getting a bad score and stuff like that? So Japan didn't know about this. But I mean, we have to go through this nonsense all the time. If you don't include a certain character, if you don't have a certain skin color, if you don't have like a certain relationship type in the movie, American critics tend to give movies a bad score. So the Mario movie is, as Japanese people have said, is very based. It's very basic. You know, relation stuff between Mario and Peach, and not like Rosalina and Peach. And the main protagonist is a man, and like all this other stuff. So Japan was doing like this deep dive on Japanese Twitter. And they're making fun of all the people that are bad-mouthing Mario because they said Mario is just a basic movie. It's not anything to make like any type of this grandstanding stuff, and they don't really understand it. They're like, wait a second, there are people that don't like the Mario movie because it doesn't include stuff that it was never going to include anyway. To them, it doesn't make any sense to them. They're like, our movie is being judged on things it doesn't have in it. And they're like, we don't understand. It's like, people are angry because of things that aren't in the movie. And then they're realizing there's two different types of Americans. There are Americans that are, you know, not crazy. And then there's crazy Americans that they dub political correct. So, I don't know. It's just so... I feel really good. Even though I have a fever and I'm sweating today, I just feel like... Our society has been so crazy with no checks and balances from other countries at all. Like, just letting us, like, act like fools and stuff like that. And now, finally, we have an outsider that's able to see... Imagine if Japanese Twitter was around, like, 6 or 7 years ago. That whole era, like, the pandemic era, never would have happened. Like, if Japanese Twitter was actually there to, like... You know, be like, no, from our point of view, we're not okay with this. You know, we're not on this side. We don't care about this. It's not important to us. You know? If they would have smacked that stuff down years ago, it never would have escalated to the point it was. Gaming never would have been hijacked. Anime wouldn't have been attacked. None of that stuff ever would have happened because I've been telling people for this, Asia is not cool with that stuff. And the Asian people that I knew before they could actually see what was going on were never okay with it. It's just they didn't know. And now that they know, it's a whole new ball game. You know? It's so cool. So, it's like, what are the activists gonna do now? Are they gonna start, like, saying Japanese people are, like, horrible? Are they gonna start, like, acting... I mean, I already know deep down they don't like Japanese people anyway. Like, they've said time and time again that Japanese people are white adjacent or, like, some, like, very racist stuff, you know? They're not good people. Activists are bad people. All of them. But the fact that Japan is now aware of it and they're smacking things down, like, in so many viral posts, it's just like Christmas came early this year. It's like, yes! Finally! Normalcy's returning to the world. Woo! Good times, good times, good times. So, yeah, you can tell I'm having a lot of fun with that stuff. I'm just like, yes. My gosh. Because in a civilized society, activists don't work. They just don't. It's a weird fad that hopefully goes away much faster now because they have no support. They have no support from Japan. They have no support from China. I'm waiting, like, the next step. It'd be funny if, like, because Japanese Twitter is now, like, translated. What if all of a sudden Chinese Twitter is now all in English and they can see everything that Americans are talking about, like Marvel Rivals and like all that other stuff. Wouldn't that be amazing? Then you have China like smacking down on like those weirdos too. So not only would Japan join the fight, which they have, you would have all the fans of like NetEase stuff in China, which if you actually go to Chinese Twitter, they say stuff about, like, crazy Americans all the time. It's just, you know, the people who are trying to change Marvel Rivals and stuff for the worst, they have no idea. Like, they have no idea how many people are actually against them, or against, like, their crazy way of thinking. So for me, it's a very humbling thing to see, because, you know, sometimes you kind of feel like people who have, like, you know, morality and righteousness and justice and stuff like that, it felt like that we were kind of alone, and, you know, we were being attacked by, like, all these weirdos for years without, like, people were too afraid to stand up to them, you know, for fear of losing their job or getting cyber attacked or, you know, getting hurt, or because these people are, like, very violent and crazy and things like that. You know, you would have to keep your head down, basically, and wait until the storm blew over, and it took 7 years for the storm to go away, right? Whereas if we actually had people who were from other countries who could be like, yeah, this is wrong, and we're not okay with this, and we don't like people changing the source material, and we don't like people pushing for censorship, and all this stuff that I knew the Japanese thought, because I have actual friends who live in Tokyo and Okinawa and stuff like that. But, you know, to see it on such a grander scale with, like, hundreds and hundreds of tweets from these, like, high-profile Twitter Japanese people, it just, I don't know, it does my heart so good to see these weirdos get exactly what they deserve, you know? It makes me happy. Because the ones that were really alone in the world were not the people with moral decency and values and stuff like that. It was the degenerate people. They were the ones that, you know, everybody was against them to begin with, but they were delusional in thinking that the rest of the world wanted to be exactly like them when they didn't. The rest of the world just wanted to be left alone. So, seeing all this stuff, like the past 2 weeks, it's really helped heal my soul and renew my faith in humanity. Oh, it's so good. Also, Japanese Twitter is really funny how they combat this. Like, I forgot how sarcastic Japanese people are. It's just, it's so good. Like, you have, like, when you're my age and you've seen the world, like, act crazy for, like, 7 years, and then it starts to go back to normal, you just, I don't know, you just feel really good inside, you know? It's like, because, you know, it's easy to see how messed up stuff is, and then just be like, wow, I guess the whole world is like this now, you know, everything is just like, our civilized society is just going to crumble, and, you know, people are going to push for all this weird stuff, and, you know, people can't speak their mind anymore, and there's no defense against this. You're going to lose your job, you're going to get doxxed, you're not allowed to have any freedom of speech because, you know, people are going to come after you and things like that, and there was no checks and balances. There was no way of knowing what the rest of the world thought, or even what the creators of certain properties that people were trying to change and do whatever they wanted to with localization, and there was no way of getting help or being like, is this really normal? Is this what the rest of the world thinks? And, you know, now we know, no, it's not what the rest of the world thinks. It's just like a few unhinged people that had, like, very big Twitter accounts and Facebook accounts, and they were trying to change the world to fit their own image, and the rest of the world was like, no, we're not like that. So that to me restored my faith in humanity quite a bit the past couple days. And also, I'm really thankful to the new friends I've made. They're really cool, and there's no more language barrier. Like, we're watching the same anime right now. You know, we're playing the same types of games, except obviously the games are in Japanese for them. Like, people are playing Crimson Desert in Japan. They really like it. People are excited for the new Lego Batman game coming out. I also learned something very interesting about Japanese Twitter. Did you know, because of censorship, they don't allow Mortal Kombat in Japan? The only way that people can play Mortal Kombat in Japan is if they play the American version through, like, a friend of mine was explaining this to me. Their censorship is so intense in Japan that they don't get Mortal Kombat and some of the more, like, really gory games, because Japan has a very strict thing on gore and violence, like, for, like, video games and stuff like that. So, you know how we import games from Japan and play them in different languages? people in Japan play Mortal Kombat the same way we would get like Kamen Rider or a Super Sentai game. So that's kind of interesting. And I was like, for real, you guys don't have Mortal Kombat? And they're like, yeah, we don't have Mortal Kombat. It's like, we do and we don't have Mortal Kombat. And it's like, that's crazy. It's like, even the 8-bit collection or the retro collection for Mortal Kombat that just came out, they don't have. You know? I was like, wow, that's really weird, because I said, no offense, because I DM these people and stuff now. I was like, you guys have, like, Berserk, and you had Redo the Healer. You have some very violent anime. Like, very, very violent anime with lots of gore and stuff like that. How come the same rules don't apply for video games that apply for, you know, the really, really brutal anime that you guys are allowed to have in your country? I don't understand how that works. And they said, well, it's different rules apply for different media. It's like, well, I guess that makes sense. But it's kind of like, I can't believe that Mortal Kombat, which has been around for 30 plus years, does not have a big foothold in Japan. Like, at all. Due to the content, is what they said. The content is very graphic. And so they're not allowed to have it. And it's like, wow, that's crazy. So that was kind of cool. I never knew that. I thought Mortal Kombat was, like, worldwide. Also have to ask when Chad gets here later, like, is Mortal Kombat also, like, very difficult to get in the Philippines? Or is it's not a big deal to get it in the Philippines? Like, that's what I would be curious about. Because I find this stuff fascinating, you know? It's like, really, that's kind of interesting that they would do something like that. I had no idea. I was just assuming, you know, you know, it's probably translated in Japanese or something like that. It's like, nope. There's more to it than that. It's like, whoa. It's kind of cool. Because I enjoy specialty games from Japan. I play, like, Kamen Rider games. I get Gundam games that are not available in America, you know? So I understand what it is to do imported games and stuff like that. Right? It's like, I get it. So the fact that Mortal Kombat is such a unique thing in Japan that it's not really acceptable is crazy to me, because I know they've had some super violent games in Japan. I've played them. And also, you could even say those horror games, like Fatal Frame and Resident Evil, those things are pretty violent, right? But it's not as violent as Mortal Kombat? That, to me, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. So I'd really like to be explained, like, why that's a thing. Like, why they do that. Why it seemed as, I wouldn't say necessarily harmful, but what the deal is with that. I'm very fascinated by it, you know? I love learning about, like, other cultures, especially how they deal with video games and stuff like that. It's fascinating to me. It really is. But I will say Japan has this one thing to say about me. They say that I don't sleep. They say, how are you always so awake? I was like, I don't know. I'm just like, I was a night owl for the longest time. And then, I'm just so used to being up at night and working that I don't, I just don't think about it very much. Like, I'm just, you know, it's just kind of, it is what it is. How are you supposed to get up there? Weird. So, like, some of my friends in Japan are making fun of the fact that I don't sleep. They find that fascinating. They're like, well, you know, because in Japan, they go to sleep, they get up, they go to school and things like that, or they go to work. Like, they have better sleep habits than we do. But there are Americans that, there's a lot of us that are night owls. That's very common for us. But Japan looks at it like it's kind of weird. Like, huh, that's, why are you like that? Like, how come you don't sleep? So they don't really have problems with insomnia and stuff the way that we do. Of course, they do work themselves to death, though. That's the problem. Like, Japan, they have a much higher work drive than we do, to the point where they'll work themselves to exhaustion, which is not healthy, obviously. So that's a big difference for us. How do they expect me to jump up there? I can't reach that. I have an idea. We're gonna trick the game because the game's being mean to me. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring the platform as close to Robin as possible, and then we're gonna have Robin double jump to the other side. I think that will work. I think I should be able to reach that. There we go. Problem solving. Ha ha ha! Was that how you were supposed to do it? No. But I did it anyway. Because the game wasn't working for me, so I found a solution on my own. Because that's what's great about video games. You can always find a way around things. An answer will always present itself, even if it's not the correct answer. There's always a way through problems. So it makes video games fun, is you find a way, you know? You're like, ah, it's not working out the way that I want it to. Let me experiment with it and see what we can do with that. So, that's fun, right? Come on, give me superhero status. Come on! The level's almost over! I'm so close! Don't do this. This is the end of the level. Oh no. No, 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 no. I'm so close, I'm so close, I'm so close. The level's gonna end now, isn't it? Oh no. No, 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 no. There's all those studs up there. Let me get the studs. Please? No! I hate finishing a level when there's like... Ha! It's not enough. I was so close. I was at... they wanted to be, what, 312,000? That's not fair. I'm like right there. I'm right at superhero status, man. Oh, that sucks. There's all those studs up there too. That's what's lame, man. Because that's the end of the level. That box is the end of the level. It is. No! Fine, fine, fine. That's my biggest pet peeve, is like when you're done with a level and you just fall short of getting the superhero status thing. It's super annoying. It's like you're so close, but the game's not going to let you get superhero status unless you play on free play, and with Superman you fly up and you collect all that stuff. Unless we're not done with the level yet. I don't remember. I thought there's a Superman section too. There is a Superman section. That's right. No, there's more to Ace Chemical. Superman has to come.
Hi, guys.
Wow!
Calm down.
Ha!
Again. Wow! That is great! Isn't that great, Batman?
Destroyed all the evidence of the crime scene.
Destroying the evidence of the crime scene. And you can't go back and get those studs either anymore. Alright, never mind. We're still gonna get superhero status. Because I completely forgot that you play Superman. It's like, there's still more! There's Superman! Whoops! My bad. I'm just gonna fly around, collect studs, and then I'm gonna come back. Because, I mean, playing as Superman is just so cool. You wanna know what I'm surprised about? This is an ADD moment, but I am so surprised that we never had Warner Brothers make a Lego Superman game based on either Superman the Animated Series or the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. Because they say Superman Returns is connected to the Christopher Reeve universe. That's what Warner Brothers says. I don't know if I believe that, but...
Excuse me, sir.
to me, it was always kind of... it was weird that we got, like, several Lego Indiana Jones games, Harry Potter stuff, but we never got a Lego Superman collection based on the Christopher Reeve Superman, like with the John Williams music and stuff like that. I really thought that that would happen eventually. Like, especially after they introduced Superman in Lego Batman 2, I was like, oh, we're probably, you know, we got like several Lego Batman games. They're probably going to announce a Lego Superman game. Nope. Never happened. But I think that, actually, that would have done really well back in the day, too. Like, you know, circa, like, 2013 or 2014, I think a Lego Superman game would have been fantastic. And then people would have been like, oh, because they were able to make a Lego Superman game, you know, it's possible to make a Lego, or not, a regular Superman game. And I'm not even like a huge Superman fan, but I always thought that that's where they would go with that. Be like, okay, that's the next logical conclusion, is if you make a Lego Superman game, then you would have a actual Superman game. This has been a very long time since the last Superman game, if you didn't know that. It's been a very long time. Injustice doesn't count. Injustice is a collab game. It's not... Superman is in it, but he's not the main focus of the game. It's a Justice League game, basically. The Injustice universe is fun and everything, but it's not like a Superman thing. Yeah. I mean, now it's way too late. Like, they'll never do that. And we don't know what James Gunn is gonna, like, if he's sticking around. Nobody knows what James Gunn is doing, because he hasn't announced if he's staying after his contract is over. In a couple years, or a year or something. I think his contract's up, like, next year. Or whatever. Unless he signed a 10-year contract, I don't remember. But with now, Paramount... It is Paramount? Yeah. Paramount owns Warner Brothers? Or they joint own it or something? I don't know. Mergers always confuse me. Oh, I had a Marvel question for you guys, because you're more accustomed to this. Is it true that Peter Parker, the one with kids, and Mary Jane is his wife, did Marvel really kill him off the same week that they killed Paul? Like, those of you that are, like, you know, diehard Marvel Comics people, is that really true, or did Spidey just get hurt fighting Carnage? Did they really kill him off? Because Marvel's, like, making fun of Paul now, like, in social media posts and things like that. But people are saying, or at least, like, how I heard it, is that Ultimate Spider-Man is dead. And that's the Spider-Man that everybody liked, or something like that. I haven't, you know, picked up one of the new books, because they said the Ultimate Spider-Man run was ending anyway. But I know a lot of fans liked Peter Parker and MJ in that universe. The one where he became Spider-Man later in life. Had kids and things like that. The family man. The Guile Spider-Man. Went home and he was a family man. So wait, how they do Resident Evil in Japan is the heads don't explode? Interesting, I didn't know that. So how they're able to have Biohazard, I would probably prefer the Biohazard in Japan then. So it's less gory. I did not know that. That's actually very interesting. Intriguing. So they do have M-rated games. They just, like, they tone down the gore, but still it's somehow M-rated. That's fascinating that they do that. But my same question is, Jotaro, how can they have, like, really violent anime, like, there's no way not for me to say this, so I'll just say it quick. How can they have, like, the Anime Bastard and Berserk and all this other stuff where, like, literally heads get chopped off and, you know, things like that? How can that be okay for them to have, but things like Mortal Kombat they're not allowed to have? Like, I don't understand. Like, what's the difference between those really violent anime and manga that are, like, really gory? Like, why are they able to do that kind of stuff, but they're not able to have, like, things like Mortal Kombat and stuff like that? Like, I don't understand. Because there are some very, very nasty anime that are very, 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 very intense. And that stuff is able to be on TV or whatever, but they're not allowed to have, like, certain types of violence in video games. I don't understand how that works. It's fascinating. Welcome home, Amber. Where is... Thank you, sweetheart. Yeah, that's right. Thank you very much, honey. I'm gonna be going to bed. I probably won't sleep until after church.
That is so stupid.
No, it's not. It's not stupid. If I go upstairs, I go to sleep. I try to sleep. I don't sleep.
So you're gonna be up all night stressing and going to the hospital.
I'm not gonna go to the hospital. I usually fall asleep like around 9 or 10 in the morning. Right, so I'll be going to church and then I'll come home and I'll sleep like around noon or whatever. Like, church won't.
Try to get an hour of sleep. Try to
Yes, I'm gonna try to fall asleep.
try to stay up all night. I can wake you up. I don't care how hard it is to get you up. I don't want you stressing and being up all night waiting for you.
I know. I do the best I can when I sleep, honey. I'm very uncomfortable when I sleep. I know. But that's how I was planning on going to church. Oops.
Oh, didn't mean that.
No, it wouldn't be. That would be a bit extreme. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, honey. Thank you very much. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Alright, so the orange thing is done, so now I need to put the green thing in. Yeah, it's hot outside. I have the AC on. The AC is on. Oh, right, because, yeah. Oh, they got smushed? That's okay. Sure it is. Honey, it's not about the presentation. Ugh. Sure I can, because I mean they just got messed up in the... You can't do that. No, you can't. I'm sure you... Well, you've seen lots of stuff. I know you have. One more thing, sir. One more thing. Alright, so we need electricity power. Ow. Mm-hmm.
And then they brought it in and they go, yeah, this isn't actually what I ordered. After they blinked 3 of it.
Wow.
I know.
Wait, how can you do that?
I don't know, that's crazy, bro.
But how? I mean, I can understand taking a sip and being like, this isn't what I ordered, but... They were out there drinking it, and then they came back in and they're like, hey, this isn't the drink I ordered, give me another one. Yeah, that, I wouldn't do... No, I wouldn't do that. It'd be like, you've been out here eating for like 30 minutes, and you should have told us, like, immediately when you sat down that the drink wasn't correct. We're not going to give you a free drink. There's no reason for that. That's what I would do. I'd be like, no. That goes beyond customer service. That's the... No, that's not right. Like, those people... That person is, like, basically stealing. No, it is. That's what it is. If you've already been eating the food, and then you go up and you're like, hey, I just want you to know I've been eating this for a while, and this is not the drink that I ordered, and I demand that you give me the right drink. You can't do that. You need to take the drink immediately, take a sip of it, and be like, is this what I ordered? And if it's not, it's like, hey, I just took a sip of this. This is not the right cola or whatever. Could I please have the right drink? That's one thing. But if you're already sitting down there and eating for the longest time and you're still drinking and you're like, no, this isn't the right drink. I'm going to go up 30 minutes later and demand a free drink. That's not right. That's not, it's not care. That's not right.
So if I made a little cafe where I made little sandwiches, and I made little, like, soups and sandwiches for people, and I made freshly brewed raspberry iced tea, and you were my store manager, what would you do? Like, if a customer came in, you were managing the store while uploading your YouTube videos in the front office of my little cafe.
Uploading YouTube videos in the front office, and I'm the manager of the restaurant? And somebody comes up and says they demand different food that they've already been eating for like 30 minutes, I'd be like, I've already seen you here, you've been eating your food, I'm not giving you free food. Like, if there was a problem, I'd be like, in the future, you know, if there's a problem with your meal, please let us know within the first 5 minutes of you sitting down, and we will happily replace what's ever wrong. But you've been sitting here eating the food in my restaurant. You know, even though that was the wrong order, you ate it, and you paid for it. I'm not giving you a free meal.
Right. Can you imagine, like, somebody ordered a cheeseburger, and we accidentally gave them lobster thermidor, and they're sitting there eating it, and then they're like...
Very few restaurants have the ability to make lobster thermidor. Alfred is able to get whatever. Alfred is not only like a valued like medic, but also he's like a Michelin 4-star chef. No, he is. Like, Alfred is like one of the coolest. They say Batman's a cool character. Alfred is not only like a super chef and a medic, but he's very intelligent. He's also a scientist. Alfred is able to do a lot of stuff. The only difference is Alfred just doesn't jump around on rooftops in, you know, a bat suit. Unless it's the 60s Alfred. If it's the 60s Alfred, bless your heart, honey. I probably need that today because I'm having problems. But what would you guys do if you were the manager of a restaurant and somebody was eating free food and they're coming up to complain to get more free food because their order was wrong like 30 or 40 minutes ago? Would you replace their order, or would you tell them to pound sand? Like, what would you do? Do you think that what I said is very reasonable? Or do you think I'm being unreasonable? Am I being too New York, or... Like, what would you say? Is Alfred religious in the comics?
One more thing.
I don't know. I've never seen Batman be religious. If anything, it appeared that Batman was mad at God, and he was kind of agnostic. Dick Grayson, during the Chuck Dixon run, had DC talk and a Bible in his house. But Chuck Dixon never had Dick Grayson make a declaration of faith. Never showed him in church. And Chuck Dixon is a Christian. So,
Excuse me, sir.
like, even though you had a Christian guy working on Batman for, what was it, 12 years? And like, you know, I would be considered like a... I wouldn't say I'm a hardcore Christian. I don't really like that analogy. I'm an average American Christian, pretty much. I don't recall a statement of faith or Dick Grayson ever talking to somebody about his faith. He just had, like, faith memorabilia in his house, and that was it. Yeah, he wasn't open about his faith like Nightcrawler. You have to understand that secular people, when they see, like, the cross, or they see a graveyard that has a cross, they're like, well, that person's religion or whatever was Christian or whatever, but sometimes a cross in a graveyard is just a cross in a graveyard. It doesn't have to do with your religious affiliation at all. And like, Batman is very mad at God because his parents died. So that made him a very angry person. I don't see him being like, oh, you know, this is all part of... It's not like a fundy that's like, this is all part of God's plan and my parents dying and whatever, you know, I'm going to become Billy Graham or something like that. He's very angry. Whereas Robin had time to heal, and his parents were probably Roman Catholic because they were they were Romanian. So you're one or two things in Romania. You're either a gypsy, which would be pagan, or you're Catholic. So the likelihood of Dick Grayson being Catholic is very high.
Actually, there's Romanian Orthodox Church.
And Orthodox, yeah. Sorry.
That would be like Greek Orthodox, but it's a Romanian
Right.
sect of
So,
it.
yeah, okay. So, Orthodox Christian or Catholic Christian, or he's pagan. And so, but again, I never remember, in all the years that I've read Nightwing books, outside of the Nightcrawler stuff in Marvel, I never remember them making a statement of faith about Nightwing. You know? Just having a Bible in your house and things like that, that's nice, and that could hint at something, but there was never any stories about Dick going to church or dating a Christian girl or anything like that, because Dick was sleeping around, and Christians don't do that kind of stuff. It's sin.
They're not supposed to.
Not supposed to. So, you know...
I'm glad you see it like that.
Well, I'm just saying. Like, I'm not trying to be mean or anything. The Bible's very clear about, like, don't do that kind of stuff. Like,
Because it hurts.
you're not allowed to have a harem. You can, you know... And the reason why there were other Bible characters that had harems and stuff like that is they were showing the bad things that happened because of harems, like for Solomon and David and all this other stuff. They had rival sons that tried to kill other family members. There were consequences to having, you know, that type of lifestyle. There is no such thing as a good harem in the Bible. It all leads to bad things. So the characters that did stuff, which people always point out, it's true. They point out, well, so-and-so had, like, multiple wives, and it's like, yeah, and their life sucked. They had a lot of problems because of it. The Bible is supposed to be a guidebook that shows you what these characters did and how it impacted their life negatively, so that you're supposed to learn from that and be like, I'm just supposed to have one wife. You know? Or
like the, well, like when God like basically repopulated the earth, Noah only had one wife, and when God first populated the earth, Adam only had one wife. So that's the ruler, like that's the measure, that's the example that people are supposed. But then they messed it up like every time. People kept messing it up. Yeah,
but no, to answer somebody's question, they, as far as I know, and I've read hundreds and hundreds of Nightwing books. I read all of Chuck Dixon's run. I've read all of, you know, I never remember Nightwing in the 80s or in the 90s or even in the early 2000s when that kind of stuff would be acceptable or okay to have in a story. They never went out of their way to say, yeah, Batman or Robin is a Christian. No. They did go out of their way several times to show in the 1970s that Batman was very angry at God for the death of his parents. He saved a minister in a 1970s story from a serial killer, and the minister is, you know, trying to tell him that God has a plan for him and stuff like that, and Batman gets very angry, and he was like, did he have a plan when he murdered my parents or allowed them to die and allows Gotham to be in this state? And he's like, forgive me, Father, but he says, you know, I can't accept that a loving God would do kind of this stuff, allow this kind of stuff. And he left with, like, tears in his eyes because he was angry. And that was a 1970s book. So, I mean, yeah. And they actually incorporated a couple episodes in Batman the Animated Series where there is a Catholic minister and Batman, like, saves their life and stuff like that, but he's not in church. Yeah, I was just
thinking about that, where he was talking to him about stuff in the animated series, the Catholic priest.
And the Catholic priest was trying to tell Batman, hey, you know, you don't have to go about this, and Batman's like, you know, you're talking about forgiveness and all this other stuff, but it says it's hard for you to do that kind of stuff when it's like, I can't even forgive myself. Like, so he has survivor's guilt, and he has all these other things. Yeah. But to him, unlike nowadays where he's like stark anti-Christian and stuff like that, no, he was very agnostic. Yeah.
That's like my friend. Well, I had a friend growing up that was like that. Well, she would always ask questions, but she would always have a problem with religion. And then later, as she grew up later in life, like she just, I think, increasingly became more moving from agnostic to atheist.
Yeah, but I prefer more agnostic Batman because his parents were religious, as opposed to Batman that, you know, is just so atheistic, because I don't think that an atheist Batman works. I like an agnostic Batman, but...
I agree, because it's like he's struggling with the possibility.
Yeah, he's struggling with the possibility, but he has so much anger, yeah. Yeah. I like that better. I think that's better for storytelling. But, you know, DC will never allow that, so, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't know if Alfred had faith or not. I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
Again, they've never...
I've never heard it, but, I mean, you're right, he is sharp and wise, but I don't know.
He's sharp and wise and stuff like that, but Alfred's religious affiliation... never really has been. No, it's never been. It's possibly he's Catholic because he's from England, but they don't ever talk about it. It's not like, you have to understand. In the 70s and the 80s and the 60s and things like that, it wasn't a. They didn't have to come out and say the religious affiliation for a character, because comic books was all about good versus evil. It was all about, like, here you have these costume heroes fighting these villainous villains, and they're trying to do good.
I think, like, they tried to make characters relate to everyone.
Yeah.
So if they would make a character a certain religious or non-religious, it would alienate like certain people. So they tried to make it relatable. Like, oh, this is a boy or this is an old man. Like you could picture, you could understand, like anyone within that like category could kind of relate.
There were talks about making Barry Allen Protestant, like a long time ago in like the 50s or the 60s, because he's just so nice.
Yeah.
But I believe Hal Jordan is Catholic. Because there was unlike Chuck Dixon, there was one of the writers for Green Lantern in the 80s, I believe, that was very Christian, and he did make Hal Jordan, like, bring up, not Bible verses, but, like, the idea that, there's more to the world than, you know, what people think, and, you know, he believes in a higher power because of, like, you know, everything he's seen in the universe and things like that, there's a plan for things. You know, he's not just kind of like, oh, okay, none of this is all just random and by chance. Now, nowadays, the Green Lantern that was written by Jeff Johns and Ethan Van Sciver and stuff like that years ago, that character would probably be, like, not very religious. You know, it changes based on the writer. But, you know, once upon a time, when Hal Jordan was super conservative and stuff in the 70s and things like that, probably he was a Christian, but it doesn't really matter. Like, what people don't understand, you don't have to make characters exactly like you to relate to other people. You just have to make them good characters.
Like, you can still relate to Batman's struggle at whether or not he has the same faith.
Like, look at me. I'm a super Batman fan. And the idea that Batman's either agnostic or atheist, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't do anything to the character because it doesn't take away from the things that Batman does.
Yeah.
Like, Batman is a person who strives to help people and is a human and strives for the best of his ability to do what's good. Like, it's a age-old story of good versus evil. Like, Batman does whatever he can, you know, to help innocent people so that nobody has to go through what he went through. Like, he has a redemption arc, he has, like, all these other things. Him being a believer or not being a believer, it doesn't matter to me. And even if I wrote Batman books, like, I would never include his faith or anything like that because it doesn't matter. Like, it's, you know, it might make, like, a fun, like, annual or something like that. Like, Batman goes to church or something, but other than him just being inside of a cathedral, I wouldn't really go that far because as a Christian, I don't need to make a Christian character to be relatable to them, you know? It's not important. I don't have to change my characters to work on them.
You know.
We got it covered. Okay, well, just let me know. Up. Volcano in Mexico. Call me if you need me.
Batman, maybe he could help with this. I mean, he's had a lot of experience dealing with Lex Luthor.
We don't need him.
Well, it seems like just now we needed him.
We would have been fine jumping off the roof.
I think we would have broken our legs.
We've broken our legs before.
Yeah, but I didn't like it. I mean, if we just call him.
Robin, we can't go through life expecting Superman or anyone else to save us whenever things get tough. The only people we can rely on is ourselves. Bat computer, tie-in.
Bat computer, remote tie-in active.
Access chemical database. What substance can be produced through a combination of the following chemicals? Promethium, xenon, mercury, tantalum, and dialum.
Accessing. No substance found.
What substance can be approximated through the combination of the chemicals?
Accessing. Listed chemicals can combine to form an approximation of kryptonite.
Kryptonite? We better call Superman.
Not going to call Superman. Activate tracking systems. Detect nearby sources of kryptonite.
Affirmative.
There it is.
There's a back cave. Becoming a lap cat, my friend? I usually jump into people's laps like this. Yeah, Batman's kind of funny. Yeah, believe this goes right into they're tracking the truck level's not very long. So I'm going to do the truck level and then I'm going to call it. I think. Oh, Superman is the only DC character that I can think of that has been very Protestant has been Superman. Like, Superman in the 50s and the 60s used to quote Bible verses. Like, but he also came from small-town America, and small-town America's in the Bible Belt. So, I mean... But it's funny is because Superman was made by Jewish people. So, the fact that DC Comics went out of their way to make, you know, Superman a conservative Christian, it was always weird to me.
But that was like a thing, like, you know, that like I was going to a Jewish church for a while, and I heard a lot about that. Like, a lot of Jews hid among Christians for many decades. Like, that was their home. Like, Christianity was Jewish, there's their home. Like, especially when they were being hunted down and taken from their homes and stuff, they would raise their kids as Christians. And they would tell their children never to speak of their Jewish heritage so they wouldn't get killed. In fact, that's what happened to Mendelssohn. The great composer, we had his Mendelssohn's wedding march at our wedding. He's a fantastic composer, like one of the greatest composers of all time. He was Jewish, but he was raised Christian. He never knew he was Jewish. He was raised as a Christian. A lot of Jews, in fact, I was just going to when I was at my Jewish church that I was going to on Saturdays, which I can't go to anymore because I have to work a lot on Saturday. But some of the ladies there were telling me that a lot of the Jewish people that came to, you know, get away from the Germany, you know, like the Pennsylvania Dutch people around here, it's actually Pennsylvania Deutsch. It's actually, they're not Dutch, they're German. And they actually hid with the Amish. So some of the Amish people around here aren't Amish, they're Jewish. They hid among a lot of people. Like, the Jews had to hide in every country they've been in for years. That's why the whole thing with Israel is such a huge thing that people don't understand, is that the Jews had nowhere to go. They were being hunted down in every country that they lived in and destroyed. I'm just speaking historical facts.
I know.
Just saying.
I know. But it was always fascinating to me that after the Jewish guys made Superman, DC Comics, like, different writers and stuff that took over the Superman books in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, like, they had, you know, Superman was the exact opposite of Batman. Bright, happy guy, man of faith, you know, sees the good in everybody, so of course he would be Christian, you know? And then over time, I think it was like around probably, I don't really remember Superman being like a faith-based character after the mid-80s. I think it was like right around Crisis on Infinite Earths, like 1985, that they didn't really bring up. I don't even think they talked about his parents being Christian anymore. So, I mean, there was a time in his lifespan, like the character's comic book stuff, that he was, you know, a Midwestern Christian or whatever.
Yeah, it's probably because the Jewish people that invented him knew so much about Christianity, and they probably felt that having him Jewish wouldn't be accepted.
No, it didn't work because the Jewish people that made Superman, they weren't there very long.
Oh, so then
it was
so they
DC
created
Comics
him, and then DC Comics changed it later.
I don't remember when the Superman creators ended up leaving DC, but it wasn't on good terms.
So what I think happened, what I remember happening was, they based Superman off of the story of Moses.
Yep.
But in reality, the story of Moses is in the Jewish and Christian Bibles, so then I think the Christians just took that and ran with it.
Yes.
And were like, okay, you made this the story of Moses, we can work with this, and then made the character Christian. I think that's what they did.
I've never had a hard time catching these guys, but I'm having a hard time catching these guys. Where is... Maybe I should just wait until they circle around, because I can't find the giant vehicle. Wanted to do the giant vehicle level, but it's not working out. Like, I'm not catching it for some reason. which is really weird. Like, I should... This vehicle, the Lex vehicle, is huge. It should be all over my radar. There it is. That's it right there. Okay, so how am I supposed to... There we go. Sorry about that. This is a shorter level.
Wild. The last thing Gotham citizens needed tonight was a massive fire at the Ace Chemicals plant. Unfortunately, that's exactly what we got, with explosions which rocked nearby apartment blocks, dramatically lowering residential property prices in the area. Superman was on hand to deal with the fire, but police remain baffled as to the motive behind what looks like a deliberate act of sabotage.
You're fine, Linky.
Joker, how's it coming?
You can't crush something like this. Oh. Lex! It's a boy!
I think we've got company.
Lower this. Yeah, the vehicle level is shorter.
I don't know what you mean. Is the movie better, Red Raptor?
Yeah, I don't know what
what
the
movie
context.
you mean. Is the movie better than what? And what movie?
Yeah, like what do you? And somebody was saying like, so that's an interesting dichotomy between like the two different stuff between Batman and Superman, like their morality and how they approach things. Well, yeah, because Superman was raised by Midwest Christians. Batman was raised by a butler and has a lot of anger and, you know, regret and survivor's guilt and stuff like that. So Superman and Batman's childhoods are completely different. Of course, Batman would have like a darker aspect of, you know, life and things like that than Superman, who Superman was brought up in a very bright, optimistic, happy, loving environment.
Right.
Batman had that taken away from him, and, you know, since his parents were either Catholic or Christian or whatever, he blames God for everything that happened to him, especially in the 1970s. He was very angry. Because one of the writers for Batman in the 70s, like, he had family tragedy that he blamed religion on.
Oh,
so he
was able to relate to that.
Yeah, he was able to bring that angst into the comic books because, like, you know, there was a big revival in the late 70s, like, you know, known as, I think it was called the Great Revival, or whatever, a big thing that happened after the hippie era with Christian stuff. So of course it ended up, you know, in some movies and some other things.
I think that kind of explains why my friend grew up in a Catholic country but wasn't religious at all.
Mm-hmm. And then we go inside. Done. But the funny thing is, you would think, based on, you know, this is why the whole, you know, pandemic era of, like, people having to have somebody relate to them to see them as a superhero or whatever, like, the person has to be exactly like me. I grew up, like, in a very conservative Christian background, and Superman was not my favorite character, even though technically he would be considered a character that was relatable to, you know, people of faith or whatever. He was just too bright and happy and optimistic for me to really relate to his stories, and he was super OP too, like, you know, it's like super powered Moses or whatever. It was, I just didn't like it. I was like, okay, I mean, this is cool and everything, and I can understand Superman's appeal and, you know, how he's, like, so super and, you know, not much can really hurt him and things like that, but it's like, I don't really find his stories all that interesting. Like, it's the same thing. Like, he struggles a little bit. It's almost like liking Power Rangers. Like, no matter what happens, Superman always finds a way of winning. And he doesn't struggle. He doesn't get hurt. Doesn't, whatever. You know, people around him get hurt. But to me, as a kid, it wasn't, like, very interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, I much prefer the hero that has to struggle and they're flesh and blood, and, you know, their bad guys could actually defeat them.
I think that Batman's defining quality isn't his religion, it's the fact that he has no superpowers.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's just a person.
He's just an
human being.
He's just a human being who pushes himself to the absolute limit, and that to me is appealing.
No.
You know, and that's why I've been a fan of Batman for like 40 years, is because he's a guy who doesn't ever give up. Oops.
Yeah.
Robin, why did you straight up murder that? And
also, the main factor of Superman isn't really his religion, but the fact that he can shoot lasers out of his eyes and fly.
Well, I mean,
and punch and see through like steel and all.
The reason why like Superman's origin is interesting is because, you know, Kansas would be a very like conservative Christian area. It's Kansas, you know, it's in the Bible Belt. I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's also the fact Superman's morality is more important than Batman's, because Superman's morality keeps him from killing everyone in the world and destroying everything and nuking the entire Earth.
Right.
Because, like, his religion, like, the fact that he's a Christian keeps him from killing everybody.
Well, he was.
Because most people...
Modern Superman is not a Christian.
Because most people wouldn't be able to handle that kind of power unless they had, you know, a religion to put it in check. You know?
Why is Robin walking in place like that? Hopefully he's not stuck like that now. Okay, there we go.
It was just during the cutscene.
Yeah, it was just during the cutscene. It was a little weird. He was kind of stuck, but not. It's fine. Yeah, modern Superman ever since like the mid 80s, they haven't really talked about his faith anymore.
I think that they wrote it in because it was trying to give people a moral, it was helping people, give people hope, you know, that that you, like, that it's important, like, what you believe. You know, it's like the great power comes with great responsibility thing that Spider-Man had. It's trying to give morality to the characters. Be a good example for kids that are reading the comic book.
Actually, take that back. There was another instance of showing Superman being a Christian in the 90s. It wasn't in the comics anymore, but Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, his parents were Protestant.
Oh, yeah.
And his parents were really nice. Like Dean Cain's Superman, his parents were Christian. They didn't say if Dean was, like in the show.
Yeah.
They never said if Superman, they said he was raised with, you know, Christian beliefs and stuff like that. But they never, like, and you and I have watched the Lois and Clark show tremendously over the years. I don't ever remember Superman making a statement of faith.
He did have values that went according to Christianity, such as the fact that he didn't, you know, sleep around and stuff. That was a huge thing.
Yeah, he didn't really do that in the show at all. He wasn't a womanizer.
He even told Lois that he never did that with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, oh. Then she felt like, oh my gosh, like, this guy's so innocent, but...
Right. Yeah, it was a big deal for him to, you know...
Yeah, but thankfully they got married. So
they did get married, but he married a clone. The first Lois Lane that he sleeps with isn't his wife. It's clone Lois.
What?
Yeah, you forgot about that. Lex Luthor made a clone of Lois Lane, and she had all the memories of Lois Lane. It was a stupid gimmick. It was at the end of either the second or third season, and then the real Lois ends up coming back.
Oh.
And she's automatically married to him, or so. I don't remember. It was weird.
I'm gonna have to watch that again.
Yeah, the Lois Lane that he marries first, the cliffhanger is she's a clone. And then they find the real Lois, because I think he was engaged to the real Lois.
Oh,
and then something happened. I don't remember. The Lois and Clark show was weird. It was.
The weirdest episode on that show was, and it was the most horrifying episode that I think that I had nightmares, was Metallo. That was so horrifying. I think the guy who played that part really sold it. And like when he got up and found that they would replaced his body with metal, he was so like horrified. And he realized he couldn't go back. And
I mean, he was a good actor, but the whole Metallo stuff and the Lois and Clark thing was kind of dumb. Like the graphics were not good at all. How he defeats Metallo by melting him into a puddle was just, it was very cheap. It's like,
oh, I forgot about that.
yeah, well, they didn't have, even Dean has mentioned this over the years. He's like, we didn't have the visual effects in the 90s to make, like, we had to keep it very basic, which is why people's main complaints with Dean Cain's run as Superman is he didn't really fight any villains
How could he?
that could challenge him.
Yeah, how could he? They didn't have the budget, though.
They didn't have the technology or the budget, exactly. Yeah.
But I think that show was supposed to be mainly showing him interacting with Lois
Yeah, it's
at that planet.
It's about Lois and Clark. Yeah.
And it's about also him being a human being and learning and doing the paper and what it
Having
was like
a job,
for him to type
investigative
really fast.
journalist. Yeah.
Yeah, it was more focused on him as a human being instead of him as Superman.
Yep.
Whereas, like, in the first, like, Superman movie with, like, Christopher Reeves, like, they, like, the first movie, as I recall, there was only very few scenes with him at the planet. Like, there was a scene where he was like, "Hi, Lois," and he was fumbling his papers, and she was like, "Oh, hi, Clark." And then it went back to her, and then they cut to something else. Like, there was only they were only at the planet for, like, 3 seconds, and then they did something else.
1 sec. Hey, guys, did this glitch? Isn't something else supposed to be happening with this so I can get across?
I think you have to freeze that, maybe.
No, there's no freezability in this. There's no freezability. It might have messed up.
What about that sparkly thing over there?
Well, Robin's supposed to be able to pull metal objects with his magnet. There's no prompt for it. And Batman and Robin both can't bypass this. So this might have glitched. Okay, never mind. We're good. We're fine, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. Oh, that was actually pretty easy. Oh, wait, no, it's not that much.
Oh, Howie Mandel was Mr. Mixpidlick?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Howie Mandel. Miss Yes Pidlick. That has to go into place. And then all the gears will... Whoops. Now it should work. There we go. And now this will open up and we can get across, no problem. There we go. Hooray!
Oh, yeah, for the question about I don't know if someone already answered it, but is Alfred Batman's grandfather? No.
No. He's not related. He's just a butler.
No, he worked for his parents.
Mm-hmm.
Alfred was one of the people that helped around, like, he's a butler, so
You could view Alfred as he's kind of like a nanny.
Yeah, he's like, he took care of he took care of Bruce when he was younger.
Yeah, after Bruce's parents died, like, he stayed on and he helped raise Bruce. He didn't need to, he just wanted to.
But he wasn't hired to be a nanny, he was hired to be a butler, so
yeah.
But he just took care of him because he was the only one that Bruce knew. Like, he was there. Like, butlers don't really take care of children. They take care of the house. They cook dinner, they open the door, they set out like a rich guy's suit for them for the next day. They handle appointments. That's why Alfred is always saying, like, you know, like, oh, you know, there's people waiting for you, you know, at the party, Master Bruce, you know. Are you gonna disappoint your guests? That's kind of his job. That's what he always did for his parents. Like, handle party invitations, stuff like that. It's like a secretary, but also...
It's more than that. Like, a butler...
Also, they do everything.
Like, Alfred stayed on for, like, noble reasons to help raise Bruce. He didn't need to. He could have just been like, oh, you know, my employers are dead, I'm out of here. But he, you know, he cared for Bruce as, like, a grandfather, but he wasn't his actual grandfather, no.
He's like family, but he's not.
He's a surrogate family.
In a way, I mean, it's kind of implied Alfred is sort of Bruce's adopted dad, in a way.
Well, I mean, that's how they did it in the animated series. Is like, they even said brilliantly, they're like, it's interesting that you lost your family, but you continue to make a new family of your own. You know, and Mr. Freeze, when he goes after, to hurt Bruce Wayne the most, he's like, do I want to go after the surrogate son? He says, no, I think the surrogate father will, you know, he's going to kill Alfred.
Oh, so he even mentions that Alfred is, like, his
Yeah,
dad.
even Mr. Freeze acknowledges that Alfred has a very important role in Bruce's life, and he was going to take Alfred away from Bruce because, you know, he could hurt the child, or he could actually do more damage to Bruce by hurting the father figure that Bruce has. Yeah. That was a Paul Dini machination, which is actually pretty cool. Like, Paul wrote that, I'm pretty sure. Like, Paul understands the psychology of Batman.
Yeah, it's like, I think Alfred stayed on for 2 reasons. Number 1, he stayed on because he was thankful to Bruce's parents for, you know, being good employers and stuff. But I think mainly he stayed on because he was worried about the little tyke.
Yeah, I think he was worried about Bruce, yeah.
Because he saw that, no, he didn't have anyone.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable thing. Very, very reasonable. Oh, shoot!
And even,
Stupid eyesight.
Well, I don't know if they have it in the comics, but like, I really liked how they had it in Batman Begins, where, yes, Alfred helped take care of Bruce, but also there was another guy kind of worried about Bruce when he was little, and that was Commissioner Gordon kind of was looking out for him a bit.
There aren't that many Batman stories in comics where, outside of Batman Begins, that Commissioner Gordon met Bruce Wayne as a child. No, Nolan did that. There was one story from the 1970s where Commissioner Gordon because remember, there was lots of relaunches for Batman's origin, like ever since the 40s. No, seriously, every 10 or 15 years there would be a new origin story.
I remember people talking about that, like, oh, why does it always have to be an origin story? When are they ever going to do a Batman movie without an origin story? Yeah. Or a Batman comic or a Batman show or something.
So since a lot of the Nolan universe is based on 1970s Batman, they incorporated a lot of 1970s mechanics that are not really canon anymore. So, like, Commissioner Gordon being the cop that Batman, you know, happened to meet in the alleyway, that was something that happened in the 1970s, but it didn't happen in the 80s. In the Frank Miller universe, shoot, I did it again. In the Frank Miller universe, the Batman Year One, Commissioner Gordon came from Chicago. So he actually arrives in Gotham when Batman has just started in his Year One. So he was not the cop that was there.
Oh, so he arrives after he's already grown.
Whereas, yeah, the ones that Commissioner Gordon has been in Gotham all this time, like, that's a more modern thing.
Yeah, I did.
No, like, sorry, that's an old school thing.
I did really find Batman Begins beautifully written. The way that Bruce really wasn't able to see Alfred for a long time. His parents got shot. He was down at the police station all by himself.
What just happened?
Commissioner Gordon was looking out for him. He was asked a bunch of questions. He was scared. And then Bruce comes back. And then when he finally gets to see Alfred, Alfred says like something like it's time for dinner or something because he doesn't know what to say to him. And then Bruce just starts crying and saying it was my fault. And Alfred finally, it's almost like he finally got to see his dad, sort of his surrogate dad, because he was around all those strangers. Finally got to see somebody he knew. Like, Alfred is the only person he knows.
Well, Alfred is his caretaker in the Nolan universe, though.
Yeah.
Like, they never say he's not.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Like Commissioner Gordon helps him out a little bit, but he's just a police officer.
Yeah.
Like, Alfred is the only guy he knows. It's the only person he actually knows.
How am I supposed to get over there?
I also feel like Alfred was staying on to watch over those, like, snakes that were trying to take over the Wayne Foundation and take over Bruce's money. You know, he was probably staying on to make sure they didn't steal little Bruce's, like, inheritance.
Hey guys, I'm trying to end the episode up here. How am I supposed to,
Oh, I remember
never mind.
struggling with this part.
Yeah, I got it. I had to back grapple over there. And then we're gonna use Batman's sonic gun, and then it's all
Like,
over.
I would have stayed on to make sure those people didn't take Bruce's money and take it all for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been like, you guys better do the right thing or I'm going to sue you.
Mm.
Like, because I was the butler here for 60 years, and I know...
No, he wasn't there for 60 years.
Or however long he was there. I don't know.
Not 60. 10 maybe?
Oh my goodness, beaten again. No hard feelings.
Where's your car?
Alright, now the Batcave will be tomorrow. Did not get... Nah, I fell short again. I hate that. Ugh. Oh well.
Your character looks sad. Oh, now they're happy.
I saved a citizen in peril, but I don't even remember doing it. Oh well.
Is a citizen like Sky High movie?
Sky High was a fun movie. Not sure how the save in here works, because as soon as you go to the Batcave, it's going to start the Batcave mission. I think. It's called detective work. Oh yeah, that's right. The Batmobile got destroyed, didn't it? They only have the Robin cycle
the
now.
Robin cycle, yeah. It does look like a motorcycle. Because it is.
It is. And Batman stole it.
Why did Batman take it?
Because...
Terrible. Yet again, Robin has to run behind his own vehicle.
Yep. The Batmobile got destroyed, so...
Is the Nintendo Switch worth the money? Look, an Amber's game kit, in your opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Donkey Kong on it.
Actually, is this gonna save now that we're in the Batcave?
I mean, I think it will be worth the money eventually.
I mean, I would just get the Nintendo Switch 2 at this point. Why get the original Switch?
Like, if you already have a Switch, though, is it worth the money to upgrade? I think that's what... I don't know.
Yeah, if you have the Switch you want to upgrade. If you've never bought a Switch, just go to the Switch 2. It plays all the Switch games. Plus, you'll be able to play the Switch 2 games. It's a better investment.
I mean, everything looks better on it.
Mm-hmm.
And... I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, how much more is the Switch 2 than the Switch? Now they're the
Switch
same
2
price.
is $4.99.
Oh.
Switch 1 is, I don't know, $2.75.
It holds more games that I know of. It holds more games. Like, it has more space on it.
Yeah. But it also has better graphics. It has newer games. It has all kinds of stuff. Like, it doesn't make sense to buy the original Switch now when all the games are so obsolete for it.
And you can play Final Fantasy VII Remake on it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of cool.
Yep. And all the new Switch 2 games are going to come out on that. Okay, so it makes you go back to the Batcave anyway. This is a good starting point for tomorrow. It doesn't make sense to end in the Batcave anyway. It saved after you completed Ace Chemicals, so it doesn't matter. Yep, it already saved. So yep, that's how we'll do that tomorrow. Cool. All right. So thank you guys for the super chats today to unlock the music. Same thing tomorrow. We'll have the super chat goal up to unlock the music for the Batcave level, which should be pretty extensive. So I don't want to quit to when.
Yeah, I mean it's more, the Switch 2 is more worth it now than it was earlier. Because earlier it didn't have very many games. Now there's more games that are going to come out on it soon.
Yep, supposedly.
So.
Alright, so anyway, guys and gals, that is going to do it for LEGO Batman today. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are breathtaking. And the next stream will be starting up in just a little bit. It's going to be Crimson Desert. Thank you guys so much for watching. More LEGO Batman tomorrow. Be the Batcave mission, all of it, and the start of Metropolis, I think, is what it is. Yeah.
Awesome.
Alright, guys, God bless Happy Gaming. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for your help. Thank you to our newest members. And see you over on Crimson Desert starting up next.